Good evening. This is Maestro with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. Today, we have a 3v3 on Estia Province. Our first player will be Gordian Vorenthul. He will be playing as the Chaos Lord, tanky, destructive melee hero who walks through cover and cannot be suppressed. His first teammate, Mixu, will be playing as the Warlock, Eldar melee hero who can become a spellcaster or a melee tank. And finally, it will be LordTensey, playing as yet another Chaos Lord. Their opponents on the red team, we're going to start off with GeoKnight, playing as the Demon Hunter. Man, you don't actually see this guy around that often, so much so that I still actually don't have a very good sense of what he can do. He's intended to be more of a spellcastery type and control type of hero for the Ordo Malleus. Next up, we're going to have another person playing the Ordo Malleus. It will be Cielo91, playing as the Brother Captain. This is a tanky melee hero who cannot be knocked down or suppressed, can increase his defense and his speed. And finally, it will be COVIDoshen, playing as the Force Commander. This is a tanky melee hero for the Space Marines, can be knocked down and suppressed, but he can also buff with Battlecry and disrupt with Battlecry. So, as we move on into this game, just going to make some brief announcements that going to be doing a few, well, I don't know, 1, 2, maybe 3 casts from replay submissions. Those are things that I'm a little bit behind on. Things have changed quite a bit over the past 3 months since I've returned to casting, where these days getting plenty of replay submissions, especially considering I'm actually trying to prioritize coverage on the existing competitive scene for Dawn of War 2, what there is as far as a competitive scene goes. That's why I've been focusing on the Elite League. I still have some VODs as well as replays for the most recent monthly team tournament, as well as even a monthly 1v1 tournament that is separate from the Elite League. So, gonna do, again, 1, 2, or 3 of these replay submissions. You know what? Let's make it at least 2. And then I'll be continuing my coverage of the competitive scene. So, blue team will be securing the contested victory point, 2-1 victory point lead. Well, 2-1 in victory points, 500 to 483. Not too much going on at the moment. Missed a lot of it in my announcements, but a destructor will go off from that Warlock. Does hit the Stormtroopers pretty hard, given that they are so squishy. They will just need to retreat out of there before they suffer any further mana losses. Meanwhile, over here, we are going to have the Demon Hunter just be so bold as to just walk straight onto the victory point, attempt to decap. Right now, he is not even fighting back because he is focusing on the cap. I think he actually shouldn't bother with the full cap. Yeah, I'm not even sure if he can get the full cap. He might have to retreat soon if he doesn't actually start committing to fighting. And he might even just die soon if our player just completely loses track of him, and that will be a dead Demon Hunter. Alright then, Chaos Lord will focus down the Strike Squad with that Combi Bolter. Strike Squad now has been upgraded with the Tomes of Titan, grants the Banishment ability, an ability that is functionally... It uses the same exact visual effect as the Librarian Smite. Functionally, it does actually work basically the same, except since it is a ability on a Tier 1 squad, you actually can get the upgrade in Tier 1. It's not quite as powerful. Alright then, Purgation Squad out for Cielo. Does get hit by Destructor, but the damage is pretty minimal. We do have Dire Vengers coming around on the flank. Do try to throw a grenade on the Purgation, but the Purgation is microed away by Cielo. Meanwhile, Chaos Lord, potentially in trouble, does throw down a Kill the Weak, hoping to regenerate some of his hit points, but it was GeoKnight there who was kind of onto his tricks and did micro away, so there is a use of that banishment. There's 2 uses of that banishment. So that's actually part of why we see... I mean, we actually see 2 Strike Squad out of GeoKnight. Now, 2 Strike Squad is actually something that normally doesn't actually strike me as a particularly good idea with the Ordo Malleus, but I think it's something we're seeing some people try out more often these days because of that banishment ability, trying to get 2 casts of that. Since a single cast of it, again, not too strong, but if you hit something like a Heretic Squad with 2 casts of banishment, I think that is actually pretty scary. Meanwhile, double Aspiring Champion Heretic Squad is going to be pretty effective against the Ordo Malleus, I think, as long as they don't find themselves directly in the path of a Purgation Squad. That time they're able to get in melee with the Purgation Squad. They're going to try yet again, and they do manage to do it. Coming around the corner, not actually running quite through the full range of the Purgation Squad's incinerators there. Meanwhile, this Inquisitorial Stormtrooper Squad absolutely needs to go, like, Inquisitorial Stormtroopers nowhere near as tanky as the Purgation. If they actually let the heretics swarm around them like that without retreating early on, it could be actually a pretty quick wipe on a Stormtrooper squad. So we've got the double strikes out of GeoKnight, double Purgation out of Cielo, and double tax out of COVIDoshen. Meanwhile, missed calling it before, but the double Howling Banshees out of Mixu. And these are all things that, well, I mean, they vary in just how common they are. Double Banshees with the Warlock, I would not actually say is particularly common. Double tax, not too crazy in a team game. Usually more common with the Apothecary, but I don't think there's a big problem with doing it with the Force Commander in a team game. 1v1 game maybe, but team game, not as much. Double Grenade Launcher Heretics actually doing pretty good work on these Tactical Marines. Even if the Grenade Launcher Heretics lose models, I think they just out-trade the Tactical Marines pretty well. Attempted Grenade... Oh, on the Garrison. I thought it was going to be on the Heretics, but it goes on the Garrison. Does connect, but the Heretics the Scouts themselves, oh, that's not a good retreat path. Where is the attempted Force Melee? Oh, man, missed opportunity to even get any squad models whatsoever. I was wondering if that Scout squad might have actually gotten wiped entirely. Instead, it'll get out with all 3 models since there was no attempted Force Melee by LordTensey. I think a little bit of a missed opportunity there. Meanwhile, we are going to see the approach by... This is definitely Cielo91 with those double Purgations. We'll be able to bash the generators quite quickly. Warlock will throw down a Destructor. Does do a little bit of health damage to both of the Purgations, but nowhere near enough to actually force them off the field. I'm actually surprised that I'm actually surprised about what is this rotation. I did not think that attempting to... Okay, he'll actually wipe the Havoc squad. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have doubted it, but he might lose the Purgation squad in turn. Oh, he's so lucky to get that Purgation squad out of there. So he wanted to stop the Havoc before it could set up to suppress him, but in doing so, he gave up much of the Generator Bash, which I kind of didn't like. Especially considering he lost... No, he didn't lose a Purgation squad out of it, but he did lose quite a few models. I guess taking out the Havoc squad did make it worth it. Otherwise, I really would have liked him to just commit to taking out more of the generators. He definitely could have finished this one. I think there's even a decent chance with double Purgation he could have finished both of the generators. Meanwhile, we are going to have some Chaos Space Marines being chased down by some Shotgun Scouts. Shotgun Scouts are dodging the grenades from the Heretics pretty well, though. So, double Grenade Launcher Heretics is, in my opinion, a little problematic out of LordTensey. We are definitely seeing ways in which it's doing well, but the problem is at some point the Assault Marines get here. Assault Marines jump on the Heretics, and they actually do quite well there. Meanwhile, Scouts nearly getting wiped, trying to get in range to throw a grenade. They actually got out of there with 4 hit points, eventually regenerating. I guess the positive side for LordTensey here is that there isn't quite enough to dislodge his Havoc squad just yet. So it's getting all of this value suppression. The Chaos Space Marines, the Tactical Marines having a lot of trouble getting done, and yet they're being kept in here. Finally, we have this one retreating, gets out with 1 model. Again, the Force Melee a little bit late out of LordTensey. I think that could have been a dead Tactical Marine squad. Victory points very, very even, 396 to 395. Double cap will soon take place, though. So now we obviously do have the members of the blue team starting to get victory point pressure in their favor. Strike squad right here going to be on roughly the edge of the Guardian Weapon Team firing arc, taking both a decent amount of damage in addition to getting suppressed. And he's trying to get them out of that firing arc, but I mean, even by the time they get out of that firing arc, they'll probably just have to go back to base to regenerate their health anyway, because they still have all 3 models, but they're actually only at about half of their hit points. I think a little bit less, in fact. So upgrading to get that Justicar on the Strike Squad. This Strike Squad, I was going to say, upgrading to get the Justicar to improve Tomes of Titan or Banishment, but he actually doesn't have Tomes of Titan. It is GeoKnight who has the Tomes of Titan, which makes more sense as he does have the double Strike Squad. All right, then, we are going to see a Force Commander, and this particular Force Commander, I'm actually not familiar with exactly which one of the elite schemes this Force Commander is, but he's actually using a Chaos head model, the Aspiring Champion head model, I believe. which does feel slightly out of place. I mean, I guess you can, yeah, I mean, you can certainly definitely have battle-scarred Space Marines, but he still just looks a little too corrupted, in my opinion. At any rate, but it still looks kind of cool overall, especially the rest of the design. Does have the Sacred Standard. In fact, there's another time I'm zooming in. I'm just trying to take a look at this particular Sacred Standard, as well as the Power Sword. So this is very much a support Force Commander build. Obviously, Sacred Standard increasing the damage of nearby allied infantry, and the Power Sword going to increase their damage even further when using Battlecry. So he will be surrounded by some Howling Banshees, activates Battlecry, start proccing those special attacks, but he doesn't have any support here, and this could make things actually kind of troublesome. Okay, Shotgun Scouts will come in for the support, because eventually, although the Force Commander gets all that disruption, since he is just one hero, his damage with only the Force Sword by itself, I was wondering if that was going to be enough to scare the Banshees off. Attempted decap will be deterred by the Guardian weapon team fire. Scouts do lose a model in the process. Double cap for the red team now. And we even have a Chaos Dreadnought. So we're getting to show off some of the special elite mod schemes. This one, I believe, is the World Eaters. And there are several unique Dreadnought skins based on, you know, certain elite mod color schemes. Sanctuary used, no, not Sanctuary. That is Fanaticism used on that Stormtrooper squad. In fact, they only had one actual Stormtrooper left in addition to the Acolyte. Double? Yeah, the double banishment there actually doing pretty good damage to the Chaos Space Marines. I mean, that's the double strike squad, and I think they both have their Justicar to empower it. And meanwhile, the Heretics bite off more than they can chew, going in up against the double strike squad. I mean, these are strike squads. They are one of them is level 2, although it just got it. But they're both strike squads that have their Justicar. So I think double strike squads with Justicar, yeah, do okay against a single aspiring champion Heretic squad. Meanwhile, this Razorback will start to be chased down a bit by the Chaos Dreadnought, that autocannon doing some anti-vehicle damage and getting some rear armor hits on the Rhino. Rhino upgraded with the heavy bolter turret. Meanwhile, over on this side, we are going to have the red team actually invading the natural victory point area. Howling Banshees, meanwhile, looking to see if they can get some tactical Marine models. They get one. Can they make it two? I think they need to switch target to the Assault Marines, but instead they're going to switch targets to the Purgation Squad that are trying to burn down the generators, which probably is the sensible play. Yeah, all right. They've got it. And both the Banshees as well as this Lightning Claw Chaos Lord, they actually wipe that Purgation Squad. Do they? Don't they? They do or they don't? I've literally covered my bases. I can't be wrong. I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't. Must have already used Fleet of Foot, probably when trying to get in. Eventually, those Howling Banshees will be knocked down. These are aspect of Fleetness Banshees, so if you do look close, you can see the double mirror swords. I think it's called mirror swords. I think that kind of covers the double aspect of it on that Banshee Exarch. Those just call them Exarch mirror swords. So, victory point will, I was going to say be reclaimed by the red team, but it looks like they don't want to just stand around tanking the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marine fire. That Tzeentch, the Tzeentch mark on Chaos Space Marines, especially when you are playing against a power armor race, really definitely changes the way, kind of just the dynamic of how you need to deal with Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines. Heavy armor squads can go from tanking against Chaos Space Marines when they don't have a mark to not really being able to tank against them when they do have the mark of Tzeentch. Because that mark of Tzeentch will burn down those power armor squads pretty fast. You know, this squad of Assault Marines just barely gets out of there with one model. Meanwhile, this Dreadnought is moving in. Dreadnought can still force melee. Oh, there goes the double banishment. Just kidding. That was only a single banishment because this is Cielo and not GeoKnight. Meanwhile, the Heretics are starting to get roasted by those incinerators. Are we going to see... We could see another model go down on this strike squad. No, probably not. All right, meanwhile, the dogs of the False Emperor are engaging with the Chaos Space Marines. However, the double banishment on the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines will scare them off. Looks like just whenever GeoKnight uses that double banishment. It scares the Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines off the field. Meanwhile, we are going to have a Conversion Beamer Purgation Squad targeting this Chaos Dreadnought. So the Conversion Beamer is a new upgrade in 2.9.4 that the Purgation Squad has. As you can see, it looks very, very similar to just like a las cannon setup team. And in many ways it is. It's just a long-range burst damage setup weapon, but there are some differences. It does not actually snare passively. You have to activate an ability that will cause it to snare, which still makes it actually very similar. Meanwhile, Fire Dragons, I think it's just time to get out of there. They lose one of their models. Okay, blue team will be forced off the field there. Warlock moving in, looking for a revive, but he does need to be wary. He's going to need some support here because the Rhino's already opening fire on him. Okay, the Rhino's not doing quite enough damage, though, to deter the Warlock. He does lose about half of his hit points. Chaos Lord. Oh, I don't know if Gordian Vorenthul realizes that he's been revived here. Chaos Lord is just going in, probably just auto-aggroing from just being revived and seeing units nearby, so he does eventually just retreat. Meanwhile, this squad, is this a squad of, I'm trying to see, I couldn't even target the squad that got wiped there to even see exactly which squad it was. Was it Purifiers? I think it was Purifiers. But I don't know what they were doing there. Anyway, some Inquisitorial Stormtroopers getting blown apart by this Chaos Dreadnought. Does have their Acolyte upgrade. Conversion Beamer setting up yet again. Meanwhile, on this side of the map, we are going to see the Chaos Lord. This one from LordTensey. So it looks like both of our Chaos Lords have been upgraded with the Lightning Claws. 100 DPS power melee, which is absolutely insane. They will cleave through that power armor like a Lightning Claw through power armor. Oh no! Vindicator Assassin, super lucky there. The Vindicator Assassin is super squishy. I'm pretty sure he is the squishiest single entity in the entire game, so you really, really don't want to let a unit like Banshees to ever get in range of him. It does look like we're going to have some Tier 3 units out here. It is going to be some Vanguard veterans. They have a Power Fist upgraded. 50 heavy melee DPS on that Power Fist. They are suppressed. Does look like the Chaos Lord. Oh! Chaos Lord kills the Force Commander, but that is a 40% damage buff to all of these nearby squads. I think if he manages this correctly and doesn't let these Tactical Marines just face tank this Chaos Lord, I think they could actually focus down the Chaos Lord. Unfortunately, I think it just wasn't managed correctly. Oh, and now he's out of range of the Force Commander. Chaos Lord here just sustaining himself so much. Does have the Icon of Khorne, so he will regenerate 1.5% of his maximum health every time he attacks. Oh, we've got some Paladins here. They will be upgrading to Liber Demonica. I believe that will give them the Holy Ground ability, and we'll just check that to make sure. Yep, does give them Holy Ground. Paladins will be tying up the Guardian Weapon team. Could even be looking for a wipe on the squad. And if this is not reacted to, it could be a wipe. Okay, pretty lucky there to get them out of there without the wipe. Meanwhile, Paladins are now in a huge amount of trouble. Okay, they do teleport out of there. They're about 60% of their health. Meanwhile, we do have Tactical Marines as well as the Stern Guard veterans coming back in here, but they will get knocked over by the grenades. They will be hit by a Plasma Grenade. Plasma Grenade mostly hit kind of on the outside of its radius. If anything, the Heretic Grenade barrage kind of knocked them down. But man, these Tactical Marines, as well as these Stern Guard veterans, dropping like flies. They're just trying to sight for an orbital bombardment. And here it is. We have some Heretics picked up by the orbital. How many of them will go down? I think the Aspiring Champion will be fine. So that is an orbital, mostly targeting a squad of Heretics. Unfortunately, not exactly a high-value orbital. So it's a double cap for the blue team, but the victory point lead is in favor of the red team. We are going to have these Vanguard veterans picking up the natural victory point for the blue team as a way to put more victory point pressure on them. Actually, they will not be able to get this. I think they need to assault leap out of here so that they don't find themselves getting hit by something like a Wailing Doom. Oh, they wanted to finish that so badly. Instead, they will retreat. I think that should have been... I think the Avatar also misplayed there. I think the Wailing Doom should have come out of there far earlier. Does look like the Wailing Doom will get some value anyway, nearly wiping the Strike Squad. But the reason why the Wailing Doom should have come out earlier, first of all, it could have deterred the cap on that victory point by the Vanguard veterans. And if the Vanguard veterans actually chose to stay, they would have been in... Their retreat path would have been right in the Wailing Doom. But anyway, missed opportunity. Meanwhile, these Paladins are so low in hit points. Why are they going in? Wow. Less than 400 hit points. Still all three of their models, but they're being chased down. Meanwhile, the Purgation doesn't retreat. Still not a single model loss on those Paladins. Incredibly lucky. Seems like he's trying to see if he can finish them off with the Dire Avengers, but the Dire Avengers just not particularly effective against super heavy infantry armor. It's still possible that they might make it happen. But we're seeing just how little damage is actually being done. This is an Eldritch Storm. Does that actually finish a model? That does not even finish a model. That's 500 red to try to wipe the Paladins. Not only does not wipe the Paladins, it doesn't even get a single model. But I think this is the clapback that the red team needs. Frag Assault hits both the Heretics as well as the Vanguard Veterans. Vanguard Veterans need to be careful here, given that the Avatar is here. Wrath of Cain could be used to knock them down. Doesn't look like Wrath of Cain is going to be used. Instead, he's going to use Wailing Doom. I actually don't like this. Wailing Doom does do Plasma Cannon damage, so it does do some light damage to the Land Raider Redeemer. But that is just a dead Avatar right then and there. Double Predators now out for Gordian Vorenthul. And both of them are, of course, Mark of Nurgle Predators. Incredibly difficult to deal with in team games, given how incredibly tanky they are. 1,225 hit points, melee resistance, as well as health regeneration. They will do less damage against vehicles, but the damage over time against infantry will be very, very upsetting against any infantry that gets shot at by those Predators.
Now they shall know a thirst for blood.
Bloodlust activated somewhere? Is that it? I was trying to figure out that particular voice line. Meanwhile, Vanguard Veterans are feeding! Just feeding red over to the other team. They will go down. Very, very unfortunate. Retreating probably directly to the Land Raider Crusader, but they might get overwhelmed here. Tactical Marines and Stern Guard veterans also retreating to the Land Raider Redeemer. They decide to get inside to take cover. Take cover, brothers! Vindicator Assassin will need to retreat out of there. He's got a few upgrades. He does have the Camelioline stealth suit. I don't know if I said that correctly. I don't think I did too badly, though. Does give him infiltration if he stays in cover. He does also have the extended operations, since he does have more health. Dreadnought. We have a Mark of Tzeentch Dreadnought, even though this is a Quarantine Dreadnought. Mark of Tzeentch Dreadnought for the World Eaters. This is on Gordian Vorenthul's. Meanwhile, Chaos Lord for LordTensey going to be looking for a decap. I think he could get knocked off by Frag Assault. I think Frag Assault does do ability damage or ability knockback, but I guess there it's not even necessary. It actually just puts in so much damage on the Chaos Lord that he scares him off that way. Meanwhile, Land Raider Crusader for Cielo91 is under a lot of pressure. We do have 4 Predators, and one actually does have a Las Cannon, Mark of Tzeentch. That one is going to be for LordTensey, putting in some damage on the Land Raiders, but this is a lot of Daka.
We have 100 portals remaining.
All right, victory points certainly in favor of the red team. Blue team needs to make something happen. There are 3 vehicles here, so they're not capturing this. Okay, finally, we're going to see a squad of Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines here. A 3rd Predator out of Gordian Vorenthul. A 3rd one on the way from LordTensey, soon to be a 6th Predator build. Meanwhile, we are going to have an orbital bombardment go off while the Land Raider Crusader finds itself in here. Orbital bombardment, as well as an Imperial Abyss. Nukes all over the place. Tzeentch Chaos Space Marine, Tzeentch Predator shooting in some las cannon shots. The Land Raider Crusader is not moving, realizing that it actually can stay alive in that particular position. But here is a las cannon Predator coming in to finish the job and take out the Land Raider Crusader. Missile shots going in from the Tzeentch Dreadnought as well. That is 1 dead Land Raider Crusader, as well as some dead, as well as some other. Oh, and here's the Orbital as well. Orbital a little late to the party. Can it get any haywire effects on COVIDoshen's Land Raider Redeemer? He manages to drive it out there at the right time, but the Predator, the Chaos Predator from Gordian Vorenthul, looking to follow up, does get threatened a bit by the Silencer Purgation Squad, so we'll get out of there without securing the kill on the Land Raider Redeemer. Meanwhile, Paladin's not going to be so lucky, I don't think, unless they've got another teleport. If teleport's on cooldown, these Paladins could be dead. I would even commit the Distortion Field over here on the Seer Council to try to wipe that squad, but he doesn't actually do it. He will retreat them. Not sure if he actually had the red for Distortion Field. So huge amount of tanks, mostly out of LordTensey. Oh my god, it's another orbital bombardment. Who is going to get caught here? All right, so it's a double cap for the blue team now. 4 commanders are dead on the ground. Where are these commanders, though? Okay. This one should not be a hard revive. So many tanks. I mean, yeah, this is really the time. We've got literally 6 tanks. What do we need to see? We absolutely 100% need some Devastators out of COVIDoshen, but I have a feeling he's probably not going to get it. I think they just need, like, las cannon Devastator so badly. We've got the 1 conversion beamer out of Cielo. We've got Psy Cannon Interceptor squads. I might have even confused the Psy Cannon Interceptor squads for Silencer Purgation squads. Okay, Stormtroopers will not be able to weather the storm of the double Nurgle Predator. In fact, I think they might go down here. Indeed, they will. Massively overstayed their welcome, not respecting those Nurgle Predators. They all need to respect these Nurgle Predators. Double cap will be maintained by the blue team at this time. Meanwhile, this is an Interceptor squad, so the Interceptors, yeah, I mean, actually, I guess now you kind of have, you definitely have some flexibility with the Ordo Malleus where these Interceptors can actually be used as a source of anti-vehicle when you get these silencers, sorry, the Psy Cannons. And, oh, where's the Abyss of Chaos? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Don't think that was too high value of an Abyss. All right, Paladins will approach the Predators. Predators starting to move back. Meanwhile, the Purgation squad with the conversion beamer not set up quite well. Doesn't have a great firing arc. Still putting in some damage, though. Targeting some of the Predators. Land Raider Crusader here, meanwhile, is not going to do a great amount of anti-vehicle damage. It does have the multi-melta. Meanwhile, we even have the Land Raider Redeemer moving in forward. So these Land Raiders not exactly great against vehicles because mostly just they mostly just have the multi-melta, which isn't even particularly long range. So it's kind of a standoff here where there isn't really quite enough. You have a lot of armor that actually isn't that effective against each other. Or rather, las cannon Predators doing quite well. This will be the end of another Land Raider Crusader. But here is going to be yet another orbital bombardment. I don't know if I like this one. No infantry caught in it. and especially vehicles can really just drive away from an orbital bombardment. All right, victory points getting pretty close to being evened up, though. Terminators will come out on the field. Will it be for LordTensey? No, it's going to be for Gordian Vorenthul. Okay, these Predators, meanwhile, going to be doing a lot of damage to those Interceptors. They can't just quite weather that storm. And the Terminators will be able to start the cap on the contested victory point. But it does look like the red team at the moment, they don't possess the victory point, the natural victory point for the blue team, but they have zoned the blue team away from it. Special attack, though, from the Warlock does a pretty good job of delaying. Unfortunately, he pays for that delay with his life. I was going to say I thought he would need to retreat immediately after that, given how low he was on hit points. Meanwhile, yeah, that's a good target selection. Seer Council realizing that they need to stop targeting the Paladins as much as they can do a lot of work on them and get the Stern Guard veterans off of the victory point. There's actually a huge amount of damage against the Paladins now, and the Seer Council, they can't just chase into the Land Raider Redeemer, though. Meanwhile, Terminators for COVIDoshen are really low. Okay, they are going to be okay. Terminators will be called down for LordTensey now. Here are those triple tanks out of Gordian Vorenthul. No, is it Gordian Vorenthul? Yes, it is. He does eat some Cyclone missiles, so one of those tanks is really, really low. It's obviously a very stationary battle at this point. The conversion beamer squad is forced off, which is a lot of the damage against all of these vehicles. I almost think the Paladins need to turn and try to finish off this Nurgle Predator. Okay, looks like the Nurgle Predator will get finished off anyway. So there's a Predator down for Gordian Vorenthul. Double Predators also coming in. We are going to have some Vengeance rounds out of the Stern Guard veterans, however, trying to put in some light damage on the Predators. Very, very light against the Nurgle Predator. I mean, this Nurgle Predator now level 2, 1,347 hit points. And oh my god, so many of those Stern Guard models dying. More Cyclone missiles going in, but those not really connecting with the Predators. Really just slow standoff fights here between Land Raiders and Predators. Last Cannon Predator exposing rear armor. Meanwhile, what is this squad of Terminators doing? Okay, they will teleport out of there. We do have some more Seer Council to the rescue. Have to watch out for the frag assault, though, because they are getting close. Okay, I think they're out of the range. Okay, Land Raider is turning to probably do frag assault, but also has a lot of friendly units in the way, so might not commit to it. Okay, I guess there's just enough damage on the Seer Council to scare them off. It is a double cap. 31 victory points to 71. Blue team holds the double cap. I mean, they hold on to the contested. Right now, most of the red team's effort is focused on the natural victory point for the blue team, and they're actually giving up so many Stern Guard models are dying in the making of this 3v3 game. Does look like Chaos Lord for Gordian Vorenthul will go down as well. Some more Cyclone missiles go out. A few of them connected onto the Predators, but not many. Meanwhile, it's going to look like we are going to have some Interceptors moving in here. I think seeing if they can possibly get a decap, but they will be met with some Lightning Claws out of this. Whose Terminators are these? These are Gordian Vorenthuls again with that bright red World Eater scheme. There was an Interceptor model taken down. Back over here, we still have possession of the natural victory point by the blue team. I don't know, at this point, doesn't seem like this is working out. Maybe they should just commit all of these forces over to the contested victory point. Does seem like the strategy is a little bit stubborn. Yeah, unfortunately, I think more Cyclone missiles go in, kind of slowly damaging those Predators through attrition, especially since this is LordTensey. LordTensey does have some heretics, but where are they to repair? Okay, the Land Raider Redeemer will move in, probably looking to move in to try to make way for someone to capture this point, but they are running out of time. They need a unit on this point like now. They're getting very, very close to the point of no return. Okay, I missed it on this side that there actually was a decap, so victory points are evened out at 1-1. 31 victory points to 13. Here's going to be another orbital bombardment. Orbital bombardment does catch a Terminator model. Some more Cyclone missiles will be going in. So many Cyclone missiles were used in the making of this 3v3 game. It's a double cap now for the red team. Blue team can't get out there fast enough. Okay, we are going to have a back cap by the Chaos Lord from LordTensey to try to keep the blue team in this game. Back cap will be successful, so it's evened out 1-1 again. 19-13 in victory points. Seer Council trying to fight against these Grey Knight Terminators. One Grey Knight Terminator model is killed there. Seer Council, however, are themselves retreating off the field. Oh no, here is another orbital. Orbital does not catch them, but it does look like it might be the blue team winning this game. Attempted decap. Oh, but this is a decap by the blue team, and that will be the game eventually finished in favor of the blue team. Do hope you enjoyed it, and have a good night.